We welcome you into Week 7 of the Mike Turner Show as Carson-Newman heads on the road for a second straight week and collects its 6th consecutive victory over the Mars Hill Lions, 30-21. Hello, everyone. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. Mike, top offensive performance of the season thus far for your Eagles, 565 yards of total offense, 420 on the ground. What set the tone for your offense to perform as well as it did against the Lions?
Well, I think we got the fast start. I think we had some kids that were determined to play a little bit better maybe than we did on offense last week against Limestone, and put it together and just execute. And everything's not a 30-yard run when you execute. Those 4 and 5s and 6s in there, those are part of what you're looking for and trying to have that kind of tempo with our kids. But, that's 565 yards, and then had a 30-yard, 40-yard touchdown call back because of a penalty. But now the bottom line, that's great. That's great yardage, but we need to be scoring more points than that.
You look at it, Jared Dillingham, career high 24 carries, 196 yards, a career high for him, just shy of becoming the 35th guy with a 200-yard day. Feels like we're talking about him every week, and every week he's taking it to another cut.
He does, and I'm so proud of him and so happy for him, and what a great example he is to other kids on our football team. He's one of those guys that's, we talked about being an overachiever, but a great team guy, great guy in that locker room. But man, what a great competitor he is, and he's in the program. He's part of the program. He's a guy you can give him the football. He's going to do all he can to make sure he's secured. I'm just very, very proud of him.
You talked about going to score on some of those possessions, and you've talked about the growing process throughout the season. It's your first game without a 3-and-out offensively. At the same time, you have several drives where you go 6 plays and 20, 30 yards and punt. How much of this was a step, though, in the right direction?
Well, now that I know that we didn't have a 3-and-out, I'm a whole lot better off. I mean, it's taken me to the next day to realize that, but man, that's what we're looking for. That's what we want. We keep drives alive. You have a chance to make a big play. We keep a drive alive. We keep our defense off the field. It's all about part of being a team and operating as a team and functioning as a team and being able to see the picture. Everybody's got a role in this offense. Everybody's got a role in this defense. It's got to be that way.
There's a point, again, to touch on Jared Dillingham, a point yesterday where I looked down, probably late in the second quarter. He was sitting probably 80 or so yards, didn't have a run longer than 12 yards, but was averaging 9 a carry. What does that say about your offensive line's ability to get a push yesterday?
Well, it all begins up there. It's regardless of what kind of offense you run, but especially in an option offense, you have to have people that come off the football, not take a step and stand up and look and see where they're going, but hey, you're in control of that. You're in control of that by the time the ball snaps, you get off the football, and we've got backs taking that explosive step like we want to have. And we can be a pretty good offense as long as we'll work under those assumptions and everybody's going the same way.
Carson-Newman gets the win over Mars Hill, 30-21. We'll break down the first half when we come back after these messages on the Mike Turner Show. Back on the Mike Turner Show as Carson-Newman collects a 30-21 win over the Mars Hill Lions in Week 7. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside the Eagles head man, Mike. A first half where you are in control and solidly in control for the first probably 27 minutes of the half before Mars Hill hits a big play. What did you do to establish that 23-point lead that really set the stage for the win?
Well, it was just better execution. More expectations, all right? Not taking anything for granted. Looking like a total football team, offense, defense, and the kicking game. That was everything there in that first half was what you look for to say, hey, this team is coming along, and they are. They are coming together. They are coming to understand that there are different parts of that game that all fit together. There is nothing separate, not if you're going to be successful. Mm-hmm. But I was taking care of the football, keeping drives alive, and it did eat the clock up. And the longer we eat the clock up, the better we are.
There was a time, I think in the first half, you had possessed the ball for 20 minutes, and Mars Hill had it for 5.
Right.
How helpful is that?
Oh, that's tremendous. That's part of our offense, what we want. That goes back to the 4-yard mentality. But again, it goes back to making plays here with our wideouts and making a catch here and there with blocking, with protection. It all fits together. And when you've got kids that are all on the same wavelength, they all got the same focus about them and got the same determination, those kind of things happen.
Defensively, David Salmon completes less than 50% of his passes in the first half, and you limit Craig Rucker and Keyshawn Taylor, their 2 all-conference wide receivers, to 5 catches combined in the first half. That kind of changed second half, but what did you do to clamp down on them in the first period?
Well, I think we had had a great game plan. I think they were moving that back and forth, getting things done, and you know they were. We were attacking them on the perimeter when they tried to throw the bubble or the get it type deal outside. We were making plays. Had great hits by our linebackers, great containment by corners and safeties, forcing things back in. So it was pretty much everything was going to game plan.
You look at it, Saheem Stupart in on a bunch of those tackles as a linebacker. He has 8. That puts him at 278 for his career, now in a tie for 8th all-time on the career tackles list with Mike Schlechter. Chuck Profit's next. Some pretty heady names that he's starting to associate himself with. How nice is it to see Saheem doing what he's doing here in his final year at the Creek?
Well, it's just it's great to watch him to grow up to be the leader. It's great to watch him to grow up and be a guy that you can count on from the first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter. A guy that's trying to be a role model to some other kids on this football team and helping them grow up. He's gone through his growing pains when he was coming along as well as anybody else. That is what happens in college football. That does happen. You take an 18-year-old, now you got a 20 or 21-year-old. They're different. They've seen how it is to be part of a team and what their role has to be to help other kids. And if you're interested in a football team and you want that football team to be successful, you know not only yourself, taking care of yourself, you got to take care of your teammates, the guys that are underneath of you.
Eagles were up at the halftime break 23-7, and we take a look at those first half highlights.
Pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles, 1st and 10 C-in, left hash it. Its own 35-yard line. Evans takes counter option to the right. Evans with a seam across the 40. Turns on the afterburners past midfield. Racing down the right sideline inside the 30 and forced out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Down at the 23 by Adams. 41 yards. On right hashes from the Mars Hill 4. Evans takes. Dive left of center. Dillingham to the house. Touchdown. Carson-Newman. Jared Dillingham bursts through an arm tackle over the left tackle and breaks free into the end zone. A 4-yard score, and the Eagles have the lead off of Jared Dillingham's 6th touchdown of the season. Prescott behind him, trips to the wide side left. Screen to the left side, and that is bolted down after a completion. Antonio Henderson running the alleyway. Thomas and Salisbury. Tight end McCarroll in motion to the left of the line. Evans takes, gives to Thomas, left side. He waltzes into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. D.D. Thomas untouched on the trap to the left. He finds Pater from 3 yards out, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season, and the Eagles have a 2-score lead, 3 seconds into the 2nd quarter, 49. Evans under center, split backs, one wide out each way, wide side to the left, the tight end McCarroll in motion that way. Evans takes. Option keeper, left side. Evans has daylight across the 40. Juke move left to the 30. Tight roping inside the left sideline and spins out of bounds inside the 25 at the 23. Williams stops him. Derek Evans calls his 32-yard boot, forthcoming from Elijah Holbert, who's 4 for 5 on kicks this season. Snap back to Heron. Hold is down. Holbert's kick certainly has the length. And 44. Evans takes. Drops back to pass, looking for the out and up along the left sideline. Home run ball. It is grabbed by Miller, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Dorian Miller beats Boykins at the goal line along the left sideline. And Miller, a 44-yard score, has the Eagles in front, 23-0 with 4:02 left.
Those are the first half highlights as Carson-Newman gets the win over the Mars Hill Lions, 30-21. Mike, you look at it, it's a second straight road win. Those are precious commodities in league play. And a little bit different last week against Limestone. You got to get up late and make a lengthy day trip, but this week a 7 a.m. call time. How did your kids account for a different kind of adversity with going on the road?
Well, this was going to be a 7 a.m. bus trip, and we were going to go to Asheville and have our pregame meal. And you know, I'm like any football coach. You've talked to them all week about it's going to be 7 on Friday after the walkthrough. We laid down the law. You better get somebody to wake you up, and you wake somebody else up. And so I get here early in the morning, go through some things, and I get dressed. And so I'm going to walk down about 1:45, and everybody's on the bus. You know, it was about 10 till we could have left at 10 till 7. So I was really extremely proud of them and grateful to them for, hey, there they are, they're getting ready to play. So we drive an hour and a half, and we get over to the restaurant, and they're going through the line and getting the pregame meal and those kind of things, and I get a little something to sit down. I get up, and there wasn't that many people in there yet because it was still early, and a lady walks up, nice looking lady, and she goes, are you the head coach? And I went, how am I going to answer this? I'm thinking, I don't know, you know. And I said, yes, ma'am, I am. She goes, well, I'm a school teacher in this area. And I went, yes, ma'am. I said, my wife teaches 2nd grade. And she goes, my husband and I are here for breakfast, and we've counted, you've got 70 plus players here. I went, yes, ma'am. She said, I want to tell you how impressed we are with them, how well-mannered they are, how their attitude is. You know, we're sitting in this restaurant, you can't even tell they're there. And I said, well, man, I'm really glad you came up to tell me that. That's a great compliment to our kids and our coaches. And she said, well, we haven't known that much about Carson-Newman in the past, but you've got 2 new fans. So I thought that was a great testimony to our kids and what kind of people they are. And we talked to them about going to a restaurant, going to a hotel. People shouldn't even know we were there if we're doing it the right way. If we're on a mission and we're there to eat or we're there to sleep and go about playing a football game, it's not about us. It's about the team getting it done. So I'm very proud of them. And then we go from there to a high school to tape and have meetings and things to get ready to go. They handle that great. We got a 10-minute drive into Mars Hill, go to the locker room. Really, really proud of how they handle that. And then, of course, they started the game. So, you know, you can have an itinerary, but kids got to have a heart to handle that itinerary right. And I was really proud of our kids.
Just how you talk about being proud of their heart. What does that mean that there's that level of commitment and buy-in to the values espoused by Carson-Newman football, and that it shows that well publicly?
Right. I think they see that, and this program is about the program itself. It's about the university. It's about our program. It's not about individuals. But I also see, I think those kids see what kind of success they're having when they're taking the individual out of it, when they're looking about what's best for this program. I think that's a part of it.
Carson-Newman gets the win over Mars Hill 30-21. We break down the second half after these messages on the Mike Turner Show. Back on the Mike Turner Show as Carson-Newman wins over Mars Hill in Week 7, 30-21. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside the Eagles head man Mike Turner. Mike, a second half where Mars Hill and Tim Clifton's club certainly shows some resiliency and some fight. 14 unanswered points for the Lions in the fourth quarter, but your defense bend but don't break. 3 turnovers on downs forced when the Lions get it onto your side of the 50. What does that say about your team's resiliency to weather that storm in the second half?
Oh, it says a lot about our kids. You know, it looked like one point there in the first half it was going to be a shutout, you know, and they throw the big pass there at the end of the half and make it. And I know that was very, very disappointing to our kids. They were all geeked and excited, and they were getting everything done assignment-wise. You know, they come out and get another one there, and but they rallied, they held on, they maintained. We stopped them when it did count. We had some takeaways, you know, on some fourth down plays were big, obviously. And it is a great compliment to Tim and his team. They've had some injury problems and lost 3 in a row. And, of course, they're playing a rival, and they came back to make a throw at it.
You look at what they did, and that was a team that was down 16 entering the fourth quarter. I guess how impressive is it for them to rally a little bit and make it interesting?
Oh, I think it's impressive for them, and But I thought our kids, like you said, they handled it well. We come back when they had to, and it was on the line. That's the same people that you're playing, and that's my concern is we got to execute better. We got to execute better on offense and score more points. You have 600 yards of offense, that ought to relate to a lot more points. And defense, they weren't doing anything different than they were when we were shutting them down. It goes back to finish, keep you focused, and keep growing up. And we're going to grow up. We have 4 weeks to go, 4 weeks to play, and we've got some great opportunities in front of us. We've got to take advantage of those, and you've got to keep your eyes on the target, and that target is still a target until the horn blows in the fourth quarter, right? Your eyes on that target in the first, second quarter, yeah, but you got to keep your eyes on that target in the fourth quarter till you're done, and then you take your eyes to the next target.
Third straight win for the Eagles thanks to a 30-21 triumph over the Mars Hill Lions, and here are the second half highlights.
Mars Hill has only made one field goal longer than 26 yards. Instead, Salmon, play fake, wants to throw, left sideline, into triple coverage, incomplete. Was aiming for Taylor at the goal line along the left sideline, but from the 30. Evans takes, pitches right to Dillingham. Dillingham has the edge and the first down. Along the right sideline, across midfield, inside the 40, and knocked out of bounds. Center. Play clock at 3. Takes the snap, rolls the pocket right, looking to throw. Evans, pressure, freelancing. Now, a jump ball to DeBose, right sideline of the end zone, and he's in! Touchdown, Carson-Newman! Derek Evans making magic happen with his legs, buying time, and then dumping one in Darvier DeBose's bucket along the right side of the end zone. A 35-yard hookup from Evans to DeBose. On 4th and 3 from the Eagles 17. Salmon back to pass. Throws the fade along the right sideline. Incomplete. Was aiming for...
Those are the second half highlights as the Eagles win in Week 7, 30-21 over the Mars Hill Lions. When we return on the Mike Turner Show, it's time for the Eagles Spotlight. That's when we come back after these messages. We welcome you back into Week 7 of the Mike Turner Show. Carson-Newman victorious over the Mars Hill Lions, 30-21. Time now for our Eagles Spotlight. This time, Michael Wattrang shines it on a favorite father-son coaching duo.
Mike Turner was named Carson-Newman's head football coach in November 2016. The 34-year veteran of the Eagle football program didn't have a lot of work to do with his coaching staff, but knew one name that he needed. It was his son Josh to help guide the offensive line. The duo became the 6th father-son combination in Division II football.
I went to see Dr. O'Brien in January. And I told him I had to ask him a question, and he could sit down and he said, "Coach, what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I want to hire my son." And I wanted to make sure he felt comfortable with it and anybody at the university felt comfortable with it. And his reply was, "Well, Mike, why wouldn't you?" But as a dad, being to have family around you, that's a special thing. And that's something I wanted to do, something somewhere in my career I wanted to get done, and I just thank the good Lord we were able to get it done now.
It's not the first time that the Turners have been a part of the same team, as Josh played center for CN from 2002 to 2004. The offices for father and son are now separated by a couple steps.
It's a blessing first to be a part of this, be a part of this program and do the work that comes along with that job. It's been incredibly special to be side by side with him and to get to help with it, and that's the biggest gift. And to help him along that lines and be successful on not just, it's not about winning games, it's about what we do in this program, and that's been a special part of it.
Kevin Day, a 2012 All-American and Remington Award winner, is also in his first year with the O-line and is getting a new perspective on Mike as an educator and as a person. While it can be difficult to separate work with a family member, Day has seen a new side of the tutor.
What's funny and what stands out the most is that Coach Turner talks to and treats no differently Josh than he does anyone else. And so every time that happens, it's funny because I just envision the way Coach Turner handled us as players, and imagine when Josh was also a player, that he literally talked to him and us the exact same way. So you can either say he treats Josh like everyone else, or he treats everyone else like his own son. So either way, it's probably not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
While all parties are focused on improving the team and themselves as instructors, Josh realizes the opportunity he has to work side by side with his dad.
Definitely want to grow, as a coach. That's I think everybody's goal on this staff is to constantly become better at what it is that we're doing. As far as taking away, of course, I want to take away those, some of those memories that we have been given by having extra time together, and but growth is the key there. You want to continue to get better at what you do, be more efficient at it.
Realizing how difficult it is to be a football coach and offer enough time to his family, Mike is using his football team as a teaching instrument for Josh.
When he was growing up and my daughter was growing up, I tried to spend as much time as I possibly could, and I know I didn't get it done during football season like I needed to have got it done. And I want him to see an example of how you can work your fanny off like you're supposed to and put those hours in, but still have places that where it's time to be a dad, to be a husband, and know what's important, all right? And to know that the role, that the blessing that you had of being able to have found a great wife, to have been able to have a child, and how God has honored you, given you that opportunity, and what responsibility goes with that.
While father and son are enjoying the extra time together, Mike believes it is a great opportunity to do what his initial mentors did for him, saying, quote, "It's a chance to grow up the right way to be a man, which is more important than football. It's important what we pass along to these young coaches." For the Mike Turner Show, I'm Michael Wattrang.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Wattrang. Mike Turner, this Eagles spotlight a little more personal for you than most. You and I talked about it when you hired Josh several months ago, and there was a gleam in your eye of a father's pride when that happened, and I guess middle of the season. Just how fun is it been to be just one of 6 dads in Division II to coach with his son?
Oh, it's a great honor first, and an honor that the university would allow me to do that, and like the president said, expect me. Why wouldn't I? And but it's been a great pleasure, and it's been fun to watch our coaches interact and with Josh, and really I just put a lot on them. I'm expecting them to grow him up and to teach him things and to be hard on him. And so that I want him to have a great opportunity to do that, and he's in a position to be around men that are great family men, that are great football coaches that got a wealth of knowledge they can share with him.
Turn your attention now to homecoming. A homecoming always special at the Creek, and something really special this week. Some alums coming back, and an alumni cross going to be formed pregame. How special is that? You talked about it before the season with Eagle Forever. Here's another instance of Eagle Forever.
Well, this is exciting. They've contacted Josh and Bubba about doing that, alums, and they've told them what number it took for them to be here to get that done, and they're planning on having a practice cross, and that's great. But hey, if they can get that done, then to have our kids go out and form the cross on the outside of them or whatever, I think, man, just talk about Eagle Forever. Those guys there that have lined up in that cross, that have represented Carson-Newman, represented this football program, and then for those kids to be there to understand it's not about you. It's not about your 4 years. It's about being a part of a program that's going to make a contribution in this world forever, I hope.
You look at homecoming, a lot of familiar faces, no doubt, will be in town. Just how meaningful is it for you as a coach that so many people have made that investment and are willing to come back?
Oh, it's just a great tribute to this program, to the coaches before, that have been here. And gosh, we had a couple last week that were in the Gatlinburg area that came by here to visit and want to know if it was okay. And I'm going, oh yeah, obviously, yeah, obviously, and come by anytime, and you're always welcome. There's not anybody on this hallway up here that's ever too busy not to spend time with an alum from Carson-Newman. And gosh, it's going to be hectic, to have all of them here. I understand that, but hey, I'd rather be that way. I really would. I want us to get back to where all those guys that have played there, no matter what decade, but they're rejuvenated about being a part of this program and excited about coming back and being back here often.
Mike, pleasure as always. Congrats on a Week 7 win over the Lions.
Thank you, and it's time to get ready to go again.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. I'm the voice of the Eagles Adam Cavalier. This has been the Mike Turner Show. Thanks for watching.